On the final day of President Trump's state visit to South Korea, he visited the country's National Assembly, where he gave a parliamentary speech. Anticipation was high as it was the first address to the assembly by a sitting U.S. president in nearly a quarter of a century. The speech mainly centered on North Korea, where Trump said the regime must not test U.S. resolve. Our Kim gives us a rundown of the U.S. leader's message.
The highly anticipated parliamentary address by U.S. President Donald Trump was relatively reserved, with no surprises. His speech that lasted over half an hour focused mostly on North Korea, which he referred to as a cruel dictatorship. The U.S. president said that the existence of a thriving South Korea threatens the regime's leadership, adding that the more successful Seoul becomes, the more it discredits the dark fantasy of the Kim Jong-un regime.
Considering the misery wrought by the North Korean dictatorship, it is no surprise that it has been forced to take increasingly desperate measures to prevent its people from understanding this brutal contrast.
Trump went on to say that the weapons that Pyongyang possesses are not making the regime safer, but putting it in grave danger. He said that the world cannot tolerate the menace of a rogue regime that threatens nuclear devastation, calling on all countries, including China and Russia, to fully implement UN Security Council resolutions, downgrade diplomatic relations with the regime, and sever all ties of trade and technology. Trump stressed that the international community needs to confront the issue together, saying that the longer they wait, the more the danger grows and less options are available. The U.S. leader also pointed out that America does not seek conflict or confrontation, but will not run from it.
This is a very different administration than the United States has had in the past. Today, I hope I speak not only for our countries, but for all civilized nations when I say to the North, do not underestimate us. And do not try us.
However, Trump did say that the U.S. will offer Pyongyang a better path should it cease its threats and dismantle its nuclear program. The U.S. president said that until the North shows its firm will to denuclearize, eyes will be fixed on the regime. Trump's speech was the first at the assembly by a U.S. president in 24 years, the last being made by former President Bill Clinton back in 1993, and Trump is now the 7th U.S. leader to do so. Some 550 people were present, including South Korea's lawmakers, foreign diplomats, and those invited by the U.S. government. Kim Arirang News.
President Trump headed to Seoul National Cemetery straight after his speech at the parliament to pay respect to fallen heroes. With that being the last item on his itinerary, the U.S. leader wrapped up his two-day visit to South Korea and departed for China from a U.S. airbase in Ulsan for the third leg of his Asia tour.